Hi, I'm David Green. My student number is 1502935. This is for the music production project. I'm just going to evaluate how I played in the two performances in the two gigs, and how I think the songs went and how I think they could go better in the future. The first song that I played was Play That Funky Music, White Boy. So just to apologise for the video, I have had my little finger on my left hand, so I can't do a lot of playing or demonstrating, especially on one of the tracks. But I can do a little bit on this first one. So Play That Funky Music was the Play That Funky Music. Yeah, sorry, was the first song that we played. I think it went reasonably well. In general, the overall performance of it was good. I think as well the sort of performance markings that we had discussed in class, I really tried to capture and was quite tried to be quite present in mind of those aspects of the piece. So for instance, just to demonstrate that, so there were kind of three main aspects of this piece to really kind of capture, to get the full feel and the delivery of what the score was trying to say, from what we discussed in class. So firstly is to have a really nice big long accented E note at the start, quite heavy, and to play it as long as I possibly could, which sounded like. And then the second is the second note I played there, which is a dead note in the right hand. So the first note was really big and long, so and then followed by eighth note, and then a dotted eighth note then, so it'd be, so that last, the fourth kind of note in that, or the fourth pluck in that whole phrase there has to be really staccato, as opposed to the first one is really long. So which then leads you into that lovely. Obviously, usually playing that with my fourth finger, but sadly can't today. But yeah, so really trying to pay attention to those kind of four first notes, really, I suppose, in the main riff, which is also present when it goes up to the G later on in the song. Overall, the song did, I think the performance of it was really good. The main part that was a little bit wobbly for me was towards the end of the song, around kind of like where the coda is. On the score that I got, basically, if I show you here, just let that focus. So it's got where the coda is marked. It has the DSL coda marked as well, where to go to that, all the way back to the top. But once you get here, there's no actual clear indication marker when to go to the coda. So what happened for me when I was playing that live is played it all the way through in terms of the first part of the song, and then when it came to this line here, I followed that and I played the first bar, and then I stopped on those three bars after it, and then I stayed resting, as it were, for the rest of that section, until we came to go up the key up into G, on that G note, which I'll just show you again on the score, is there. So I played this section and then rested. I think it was, in the end, I think it was about 6 bars that I rested for, and then went to the G note, to the coda, and carried on with the rest of the score then. But I think just because I wasn't sure exactly where to go with the coda, I think we had discussed it in class, but I was still a little unclear with it. But yeah, apart from that, I think it was okay. But yeah, if I was just a little bit clear on with what I was doing in that section, I think the whole overall performance of it for me would have been like 2 thumbs up. But just that bit for me was a little bit wobbly, so it was okay, but it could have gone a lot better in that section. But apart from that, the overall performance was really good. The energy was great. The feel was there, definitely. And from start to finish, I think we did reasonable. Just as I say, a little wobble in the middle. But the first note and the last note, I think, yeah, spot on. And again, it was a really enjoyable piece to play. The second piece that we played in that performance was 24K Magic by Bruno Mars. Sadly, I can't actually play this piece or demonstrate some of the parts of it because it does take the majority of my hand to do it, and most importantly the little finger, which I've sadly cut. But 24K Magic overall went really well. We didn't have as much practice on this piece as I really would have liked to, but it did go really well considering. The riff itself is or the song, beg your pardon, itself is very much vocals and bass driven, with obviously the brass stabs, but obviously we didn't have the brass on the day. So in the performance of it, I really kind of in some respects had to step up to really play that bass line and try and get it as correct as I possibly could consistently throughout the piece. There were a couple of times in the verse, in the main riff, should I say, because it's verse and pre-chorus riff that it does it, where I could have been. There were a couple of times where the didn't hit every note, and a couple of times that happened, but nothing major in that respect. But overall, it was really well played, and I think the presentation of it was great. Towards the very end, after verse 3, there's 8 bars of verse 3, and then it goes into a breakdown, like a pre-chorus breakdown, or a final breakdown pre-chorus for another 8 bars, which is a little bit more tricky on the timings between the drummer and the bass. But that again came off really well, and I was really pleased with that. We practiced this song I think 3 times. Again, same as Play That Funky Music White Boy. I think if we'd have had another practice on that, I think it would have been a lot tighter. But in the overall performance with the whole band and the ensemble itself, I think it was great. I think I think it was really well played and well executed. The last song that I would talk about is Feel Like Making Love. That was in the second performance, the second gig that we did. Again, I was really happy with the piece in general. The playing of it was great. I think the feel was definitely there. In fact, the feel I think was been there in all 3 of the pieces that I did. Definitely really captured that. Feel Like Making Love, we were given the piece and just told that we could kind of make it our own a little bit. So we kind of went for a bit of a funk sort of soul feel on it, kind of like that Motown sort of tone going between like root and fifth sort of thing, but kind of moving around the neck. So for me, it was really nice to play. We went for changing up a bit towards the end of the song. So the song itself usually plays through 4 times with a solo on the 3rd verse. We did the same thing, so we kept the structure as is, and then what we did is we added a little bit of a bossa nova section on the end. So what we decided to do was after the 4th time through the sheet, I'll show you the sheet here. So after the 4th time through on the sheet, we went back all the way to the top, and we played all the way through to the first E flat, and then whilst we were playing that, and that was in, sorry, beg your pardon, so that was that would have been the 5th time to go to the top of the sheet, and we played it started off playing in the bossa nova style. We went through to, as I say, to that first E flat, and the guitarist was playing the melody line as a solo, and then when we got to that E flat, I vamped for a bar on the E flat, and then we went back to the top again, where the guitar changed to more of a laid-back solo, and the vocals came in and joined the band for the final way through. So we got through the verse, and then we did the into the chorus with the vocals, and then we did a second chorus again on the end, and ended. And got the track to an end. But the piece itself was great. I think it went really well. But again, just maybe another practice on this would have tightened us up, especially in the changeover section. I think what happened, like we went into the start of the 4th section, and the vocals I think came in slightly late, which by the time we got to the end of the sheet, the vocals were then like a bar or 2 behind us. we then went to change into the bossa nova section, and the vocalist thought that was her cue, but then soon she realised that it wasn't, and we played through that first solo with the guitar playing the melody line, and then vocalist came back in and it was fine. But minor glitch, but I think overall we recovered. We didn't stop, and the feel was definitely there for all of it. If I could have done something better, again, as I say, just maybe another couple of practices. But overall, I think we all knew the individual kind of feel and the part of it, but could have just done with that extra, that extra practice just to tighten things up. But I think overall, as I say, yeah, good performance. Really enjoyed playing it. But yeah, nice one. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.